so I'm not going to lose it this time.
Sounds good.
All right, guys, my name is Henry Gold with Mayhem Exposed. Now, on this interview, we're going to grill Reed Floren. Now, he's not just a regular commerce, I mean, like in the internet marketing scene. He has been doing it since he was. I'm not going to mention it, I will let him talk about it. But I will tell you, he's a great guy to go to. He got the 10 WSO product of the day, and he was one of my partner and on the 117 Christmas gifts, which we got roughly about 50,000 subscribers in 30 days, and he was the first guy that helped me to connect with some of the marketers that I learned from, which is Mark Joyner, in which it helped me to master the conversion. This guy is not a newcomer. If you see him at the time when I met him first time in Phoenix, Arizona, he was only 19 years old. Okay, and yet the way he thinks is very mature. Now, Reed, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself, how you get started, how you became so mature when, even though when I met you, you were just 19 years old boy?
Sure. Well, we've known each other a long time. It's been going on 10 years now. And yeah, I started doing internet marketing back in 1999. I was 13 years old at the time. There was a thing called All Advantage where you got paid 50 cents an hour for every hour you were online, and then 10 cents an hour for everyone that you referred. So I referred a bunch of college kids under me, and so I started getting checks that way, and that's what kind of got me started with the internet marketing thing. Then I delved into like some MLM stuff and eBay and affiliate programs and all sorts of different things over the years, and then eventually started doing the joint venture brokering, which led to meeting you, and then we did after we met at the seminar, we ended up doing 117 Christmas gifts, and built a huge list that way. And then I discovered the power of email marketing, and so started building my own list, and then started promoting products as an affiliate through my own email list, and just kept growing things and compounding things. And now I have my own products that have been bestsellers. I've spoken all over the world at internet marketing events, and I've helped a lot of people over the years. So it's been a lot of fun to give back and help people as much as possible.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, you were 19 years old. When was the first time you realized that you decided to do business on your own?
Well, I mean, the first time that I started making money for myself through my own business was 13. I've never had a job or anything. I've never had a job, never applied for a job, never done a resume, never applied for college or anything. It was just delved into internet marketing, made it work eventually. It took me a while to get it going and make things work, and I eventually kept trying different things and had various levels of success and failure, and just kept plugging away and figured it out along the way. And that, with help of a lot of friends and partners, I learned a lot.
But here's the thing: you were 13 years old at the time. But I mean, there must be something that intrigued you, prior to 13 years old to decide, this is the path that I want to go to build my own business. And a lot of people, when they were 13, they are still in the mindset of like playing video games, going out with friends and those kind of stuff and getting to know each other and so on. But your mindset already starting your own business. You must start younger than that to realize that you want to do something for yourself and become successful and so on. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, well, I think the big catalyst is my dad lost his job when I started kindergarten. So we had like a kind of like a kindergarten roundup type thing where we got to meet our teacher and see our classroom and stuff like that. And that day, he found out he was losing his job. And so that was about, I think, 2 weeks prior to school starting, or like a week before school started. So within a week or two of school starting, he had lost his job. And it took him 13 months to find a replacement job. So he found a job that was 75 miles away, and so he would drive an hour and a half each way. He'd get up in the morning at 4:30 in the morning and come home at 7 o'clock at night, basically have dinner, go to bed. And so I didn't really see a whole lot of my dad growing up. He still actually works for the state and still does stuff with them now. And basically, I think that was a big catalyst. I learned that even a government job isn't secure. I learned that
Mm-hmm.
even if you're highly educated and like an expert in your field, it can take a long time to find a replacement job. I learned the power of sacrifice. I mean, he was sacrificing 3 hours a day plus a lot of mileage and wear and tear on his car to give us the opportunity to
Mm-hmm.
stay where we were living, the house that we have, and have it so he would make those sacrifices to go to work every day, but my sister, my mom, and I would have the same kind of lifestyle that we were enjoying, and so that they lost they went through a lot of their savings. They basically racked up a lot of credit card debt. They went through a lot of their savings. I mean, they were pretty much broke by the end of that 13 months. So it was a big change. We were like shopping at thrift stores and stuff like that, and so it was all I was a firstborn child,
Mm-hmm.
but basically I was wearing hand-me-down clothes and stuff like that. So it was a different experience. And I mean, my parents did the best they could, but that was a big catalyst. I mean, during that time, they learned a lot about, during those 13 months, they were looking for different opportunities. Like they were looking in like real estate investing and like vending machines and even like selling like temporary tattoos. And my mom started
How
like
old were
a,
you at the time? Were you like five
uh,
years old?
so I was kindergarten. I started at 6 because my sister was born when I was 5, so my parents held me back a year to spend some time with my sister. So I was 6 years
Okay.
old when this happened, and so
When did you realize that you're gonna start your own business? Like you have to do something differently than your parents. Is that like when you were like 7 or 8 or 6?
I think a lot of that was going on then. They were looking at a lot of different business opportunities. They were getting like business opportunity type magazines and looking at different like businesses they could invest in and stuff like that to try to turn things around. And so, I was seeing all sorts of like self-improvement type books getting put on the bookshelf and a lot of business opportunity type things that they'd request information for. They'd get like one of those small business opportunity magazines and they'd fill out the information and
Mm-hmm.
request all the different stuff. So I'd see all that stuff coming in. Now, I couldn't really read or anything. I was kind of a slow learner. I didn't learn to read till I was about 10 years old. But, I still saw all this stuff coming in and still learned, just these things coming and just exposed me to, there is a different way to make money. There is a different way to do things. You can create stuff. You can, kind of create your own lifestyle. And so that, I think, was a big catalyst. And then, just seeing how much my dad sacrificed all those years really motivated me
Mm-hmm.
that, that's not what I want. I want to have my own business. I want to be in control of things for myself.
So you realized this when you were like 8 years old, and you start your
Probably
own
around,
business at 13.
around yeah, yeah. I mean,
Probably.
I started my internet stuff at 13. I was selling some stuff like door to door and stuff like that. Like I'd make little soap, like so. Like you remember, like like a 35 millimeter camera, you'd have like the black little plastic thing and have the gray cap where the film would be in. I put like different soaps in there and
Yeah, yeah,
water, and
yeah.
I'd sell that to my neighbors when I was like 6, 7 years old, and do all sorts of crazy stuff like that. Where I'd sell different things around the house to not just knock on neighbors' doors and start selling stuff. And so that I've been an entrepreneur as far back as I can remember, really. But I mean, to really start like my own internet business was at 13.
13, and you retired at 21.
Yeah, basically, I kind of considered myself semi-retired at 21. I know it's a little bit more of a marketing gimmick than anything, but basically, I built up a nice email list that was, paying the bills and, creating a lot of opportunities for me where I would, spend a couple minutes a day really working, if you will, and the rest of the time I could go out
Mm-hmm.
and play and have fun. And so that was, to me, I considered that semi-retirement because it was like my business is doing stuff for me. It's continuing to grow. It's reaching new levels each and every day, and I didn't really have to do anything for it. And so I suppose it sounds really arrogant and cocky, but I don't mean it to come off that way. It's just if you can follow a system and really put in the work, the hard work up front, and get something working, and it becomes kind of a well-oiled machine that creates money for you. And that's what internet marketing
Mm-hmm.
is. It's a vehicle to wealth and freedom. That's all it is. And if you can work on that vehicle and get it, fine-tuned and working for you, it becomes an
Yeah,
asset that doesn't really control you. You control it, and that gives you a lot more
yeah.
freedom in your life.
So, what you make, what you're trying to say is makes sense because at one point, I'll tell you this: I was in Las Vegas, right? And then at the time itself, I was like bringing a couple $100. Like it was like back in 10 years ago. And then I was with my brother at the time, and I said, let's play some roulette stuff and those kind of stuff. Like after a couple of hours later, it was just so much hard work, in which that I was kind of upset. And then before we went down to the floor to have play the casino, and we played the game itself, I was actually sending out an email. All right, I was sending out an email, and then when I came upstairs, I was probably winning like $40 after losing the $200 I was winning $40. When I went upstairs, I was looking at my screen on my PayPal account. It was like $2,000 sitting down in my PayPal account. That was a huge difference. And after that, I said, no more gambling anymore. That's it. This is it. You see the differences?
Yeah, I feel, the having an email list is kind of like being a casino where you're the house
Mm-hmm.
and you're winning all the time. I mean, it's just a major shift. I mean, I've been into a couple casinos, but I don't really gamble. I don't see the point. It's just internet marketing is so much easier to make money. And so I really like that you brought that up. I mean, it feels that way. My parents tell me, when they see me send out an email, it's like, man, it's like you're a casino and you just rake in money whenever you click that send button. I'm like, yeah, it's cool.
Exactly. So, let's say right now, Reed, the people that listen to this call, they are completely newbie. They have no clue what they are doing and so on. What is your suggestion? What is your primary suggestion for them to do? I know you're gonna say one word.
Well, I mean, it's really, you focus. You gotta, follow one course
Mm-hmm.
until successful. And what I feel people need to do is they need to pick out their niche market. Maybe it's going to be something like internet marketing, or it might be, real estate, or forex trading,
Mm-hmm.
or relationships, or self-improvement, or anything. Pick some big, health and fitness. Pick some big niche market that people are proven to have success with. And if you have some expertise in that, or you're willing to interview people, or maybe you've bought some products in that, it's going to help you out a ton. Now, you pick out that niche market, then you start building an email list. You give out something away for free. Maybe you do an interview, maybe you create an ebook, or you create some videos. You could even pay someone to create stuff. You don't have to create it yourself if you're afraid or you're worried about something being perfect. None of my stuff is perfect. There's typos and errors and everything I say and on, whatnot. We're not perfect. You just have to get over yourself and just keep plugging away and make something happen. You'll
Mm-hmm.
find that a lot of people are really forgiving about that stuff. I mean, even these blockbuster movies that make hundreds of millions of dollars, if you look hard enough, you're going to find continuity issues and things that were like, they'll be in the right hand one time and then they'll be in the left hand the other shot, or there'll be something completely out of place. And so. And those are things with hundreds of people working on them, so nothing's going to be perfect. Get over yourself. So you pick out that niche, you create something to give away for free, then you start,
Mm-hmm.
buying some traffic. Maybe it's solo ads, maybe it's Facebook ads, maybe it's some other sort of like pay-per-click advertising, and you start building that targeted email list. You build a relationship with them. You may be sharing some of your personality, giving some other free content to them, and then you start promoting various affiliate offers that are related to your topic. So let's say you get into the internet marketing niche, and maybe maybe you're going to give people like training about blogging. So you give them some training about blogging. Well, you could promote various blogging products, or like WordPress plugins, or things to get more like traffic to a blog. Those types of things would be a great fit to that list. Don't promote like Teespring t-shirts to that list or something like that, because it's not very
Yeah.
targeted. But if you
Yeah.
promote like blogging products to that list, you're going to make a lot more sales, you're going to have less unsubscribes, and you're going to have better engagement with your list, and that's going to lead to more people opening your emails, more people clicking on your emails, and a lot more money. Once you have that figured out, you pick out one niche. Let's stick with the internet marketing model. You pick one niche in internet marketing. Let's say you want to multiply your income even more. Well, you can either grow that list and get more subscribers, or you can build a second list and teach another topic. So maybe your next list will be about maybe CPA marketing, or maybe it'll be about list building, or maybe it'll be about doing Amazon. There's all sorts of different topics that you could talk about, and you could have these different lists that you could promote different offers. And this is all about segmenting. And when you have your lists all segmented and you promote various segmented offers to that list, you can make a lot more money, and you can start promoting products in all sorts of different markets. Now, that's one model. The other model would be to pick one specific niche and just stick with that niche. You just stay with blogging, for instance, and you only promote blogging products, and you start creating your own blogging products, and then you become a blogging expert. Either model works. Personally,
Yeah.
I think sticking with one and making that work is the easiest one. to get successful, but eventually you might reach some saturation. You might find that's a little bit harder to get to a certain level, and that's when you start segmenting and doing other lists, maybe inside the same niche, because you have the same kind of traffic sources usually, and you can monetize things a lot easier now that you know what you're doing.
Exactly. I completely agree with you. Like there's a saying from Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee did not I'm not afraid of people who know 10,000 different stuff, but he's afraid of somebody that mastered the skill of, kicking like 10,000 times for the same style or whatever it is they call it to be. I don't remember the right words. Do you remember it? You
I'm
should.
not familiar with that quote, no.
No, he says something like, I'm not afraid of someone who knows 10,000 stuff, but I'm afraid of someone who actually know how to practice one kick 10,000 times. That's what he said.
Sure. Wow.
That's exactly what you just mentioned to the audience in here. Now, before we get into the volume number two, which is the networking part, let me ask you one last question. Can you tell us one of your biggest strengths and weaknesses that you face in your business, like when you start out until to where you were before you retired?
For me, I think the biggest skill that I have is being able to network with people. I love going to events. I love going to seminars. I love communicating with people, helping people out. I think that's the big one for me. I think overall I've got pretty good people skills.
Hmm.
My biggest downfall, I guess, is I kind of get involved in a bunch of different projects and then maybe don't get motivated to complete them. So I think that's sometimes an issue. Like I'll jump from thing to thing to thing sometimes, and I don't know if it's like ADD or something, but it's. I mean, I've never been diagnosed with it or anything, but it seems like it's easier to start something or think about something, and maybe it's just an entrepreneurial thing where you just kind of like, oh, I'm going to do this. But wait, I want to try this too, and then you kind of get sidetracked. And when you're starting like 2 or 3 different projects at once, all of them take a lot longer, and it would be better to just do one at a time and get that mastered, get that done, and then move on to the next one.
So your suggestion to the audience would be like, ignore everything else, just focus on one thing at a time. And once you complete it, then you figure out something else that you want to do next, right?
Definitely. So, okay, let's say you want to make money and you realize that building an email list is the easiest way to start making money online. Well, you
Yeah.
start building that email list. That doesn't mean you start doing Teespring t-shirts one day and you start your blog the same day and you start building an email list the same day and you start creating a product the same day. You build that email list and you get that email list going, you get a couple thousand subscribers on there, you start making some money from it. And then if you see that that's making some money, it's paying the bills for you, then you can try Teespring, or then you can try blogging, or then you can try making your own product. Don't try to do 4 or 5 things at one day or one week. It's just going to slow everything down. They're all going to fail.
Hmm. It's similar, like again, we get back to the Bruce Lee method itself, or like some other big companies that have done, which is like even Google, like if you saw it, Google only focus on one thing, right? Which is search. That's what they focus on. They focus on nothing else. Even though they have YouTube, it's still focused on search. If we go to Google.com, it's just one thing: search, search, search all the way, which just makes sense, a lot of sense to everybody to focus on. So, guys, thank you. I mean, this is the end of the volume number one. I'm gonna grill Reed on the volume number two, which talk about networking, and this is what he's good at. And this is not Reed is not just a regular guy on this. He has been understanding about he need to do business since he was like 6 years old, and then he started his online business when he's 13 years old, and he semi-retired when he was 21 because he has this big mailing list that he can mail to all the time, which is what we call money machine, better than casino, that's for sure. So thank you so much, Reed. I'll see you guys on the volume number two. Take care now.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
Wow.
Now, did
This is the end.